Hey, what's going on, guys? MrChubbyCakes here, playing a little Terraria with the new patch. It just came out today. What's that? October 30th. September 30th. There it is. It was supposed to come out October 1st. It actually came out September 30th. So that's awesome. Now, I was so psyched for this update. So psyched. Like, I was pumped. I was this whole video. I was recording it. The reason why it's taken a while to get through the whole thing is because I made a review in Let's Play. Problem is, DX Story didn't record my microphone. I'm so frustrated. I unplugged my microphone to go plug it into my Xbox. My friend wanted to talk to me on there. When I went and plugged it back in, I forgot to close out of DX Story and reopen it so it would refresh the sound devices on there, and it just, everything went wrong. It was like a 20-25 minute video. I was so pumped and excited for this, and now I'm just totally bummed. But I'm not gonna go through that again. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through the video with you guys. I won't probably be seeing any of the video, mainly due because I'm gonna be on a web page here reading off some patch notes. These patch notes are pretty long. There's a lot going on, bug fixes, mechanics to the gameplay, characters, just etc, etc. There's a lot to do. I didn't even explain anything in the video itself. So I know this video is going to be really fun and awesome, and I was very hyped up. Like, I was talking. I wasn't saying and a lot like I usually do. If you don't notice, I do that a lot. It's just because I speak faster than what my brain can think, if that makes sense. It's just I just do that. I don't know why. It just happens. It's not like I don't run out of things to really say or anything. It's just my brain just doesn't go, or I'll stutter like you just said that scene there. It you know, it gives me time to think without trying to say. And yeah, and so this thing happened to go over there. It's just, so I apologize if that gets a little annoying. I really do. It's just my brain doesn't think as fast as I try to talk. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the bug fixes here in the Terraria 1.2 changelog. Now, I'll go ahead and link this into the description box as well if you want to go ahead and check that out. Like I said, there's a lot to it. I'll try to go through every last one. It's a big webpage full of notes, and I gotta say, you know, this game's gonna be awesome. I am gonna do a Let's Play of this. Excuse me, I was really reluctant to, but with this new update, I can't resist. It's gonna be fun. A lot of new things going on. Alright, so let's get into this here. So we're in the bug fixes area. So first one we have on the list is you can no longer craft items or money by placing items in the trash. Now, this thing I didn't know about. I guess supposedly if you put stuff in the trash, you can make items and money. I actually didn't know this, so it kind of sucks. That could have came in handy before. The second one we have in bug fixes, you can no longer sell your gold to NPCs. So this one I did know you could put your gold in there and sell it. It was weird. It didn't really have any special effect or anything like that. Next one we have is the music box or chest duping no longer works. I don't remember anything about the chest duping, but it's fixed now. We got bunnies or goldfish spawn from statues no longer drop money during a blood moon. I didn't know that was a bug or anything like that. It just sounds like maybe just a change. I don't know. I guess it was a bug. Next one we have is equipping items to the social slot in German no longer crash the game. So supposedly if you're running the game in the German, it would crash your game if you tried to put stuff in your social slot, which isn't anything for armor, but it overwrites your armor and you can see stuff. So if you had an iron helmet in your armor and you put a hat in the social slot, you would see your hat, not your armor. You know, whatever, something simple. Next we got is you can now reforge in all languages. I really don't know what that means. I only play in English because I'm English, so I don't know. Next one, active blocks will no longer become inactive with a chest on them. Again, I didn't know anything about this. I don't use any tripwire or any type of stuff, you know, that leads to active blocks and inactive blocks and whatnot, but that has been fixed. Next one we have is a fixed bug that would cause a suitable house to be unsuitable. I do remember this one, and it pissed me off a lot because I was always trying to figure out, you know, I got a table, I got a chair, the wood, you know, the background's in, it's a room. Why isn't it working? So obviously it was just a bug, so that's good that fixed. We fixed a lot of bugs that were not listed, so obviously a lot more. So this list would probably be a lot longer. But they went ahead and did not list them. Now we're moving on to the mechanics and gameplay section here. First one we have, the enemies now have health bars. If you haven't noticed in the video, I don't know if it's up to that point or not yet. I'm not too sure. Like I said, I'm not watching the video at this time. But there are enemy health bars now, just like the Xbox 360 version. I like how it seems that 4J Studios and Relogic are kind of helping each other out, giving like each other ideas on what to put in, because the Xbox 360 version, 4J Studios was making, I think it was 4J Studios. I could be wrong. I think so though. Or was that Minecraft? It might be Minecraft. Anyway, they put health bar in the Xbox 360 version of Terraria, and now they have it here in the PC version, which is awesome. Now you can actually see how much health the enemies and the bosses have. Another one, there's now a mini-map and overlay that only shows tiles the brightest they have ever been, which I love. This was also a feature in the Xbox 360 version, where you had a map. You just press select, and or the back button for 360, and you see your whole map, you can see your world and everything. So they added that in there, so that's perfect. The map can now be toggled using tab, M, or through the map icons, which later in the video I find out, and it was really confusing. I wasn't sure what they were. The M has been remapped for map feature, obviously. J is now default for mana use, so if you want to use your mana, go ahead and just press the J button. There is now an extended crafting menu that will show everything you can craft, which is nice. So next one we have is some items now stacked to 999. Now this is amazing. The original stack was 250, and so it's for some items, and then some items it was like 99. Like you can only have 99 torches stacked, and then with like blocks you get out 250. But now some items can now go up to 999. Now this is awesome. It's going to save a lot of space. You wouldn't believe how many times I would go to the surface, empty out everything, and go back down and have to leave like 15 minutes later because I had my whole inventory full. So this is awesome. Next one, we have character slots have been increased to 1,000. So now we can have 1,000 characters. World slots have been increased to 1,000. We can have 1,000 worlds. Before it was 5. You can only have 5 characters, 5 worlds. That was it. I mean, I'd have to back up if I wanted more characters, I'd have to back them up, delete them, and then make a new one, and then have to back that one up and delete it if I wanted to put my other one back in there. And it was just a hassle. I don't know if a lot of people did that, but I always wanted more characters. So now, character and world slots are up to 1,000. Now the starting female clothes have been modified, something simple. There are several new hairstyles, which I saw. There's a lot of hairstyles. Character creation has been remodeled, a lot better. You have slider bars now for colors, and it's pretty cool. I like it. It just reminds me a lot of the Xbox 360 version. You see the chest size have been doubled. This is also awesome. This is great. There's so much more room. I don't have to have 500 chests everywhere. Now I can just have 250 chests. That's perfect. That is just perfect. Okay, it looks like I somehow refreshed my webpage without testing anything, and now there's an ad playing. Well, thanks for interrupting my video. Alright, going down, let me scroll down here to the next one. We have this, Your inventory space has been increased by 10, so this also helps with more room and space. Let's see, you no longer need to jump to ascend single blocks, which you'll also find out later in the video. I don't know if it's happened yet. But yeah, single blocks you don't even have to jump anymore, and that was so annoying. Now you can just run. It's perfect. See, the hammer is now used for creating slopes, half tiles, and breaking walls only. So you no longer need the hammer to like destroy, let's say, a crafting table or a crafting bench and a furnace that you put down. It's only for slopes, half tiles, and walls. The axe is now only used for chopping down trees and giant mushrooms. So now, later in the video, when I start building a house, you notice I can't use an axe on the wood that I was placing. I actually have to use your pickaxe now, which we'll come up to next. Pickaxe will now remove blocks, placeable objects, and items such as life crystals and chests. So your pickaxe is more useful now. You know, you don't really need every single thing with you the whole time. You know, every time I'd go down into like hell or something, you know, I'd always have a hammer, axe, pickaxe, etc., etc. Now you don't really need all of it. Save a little bit on room. Let's see. You can now paint any solid title or item with that, so that's awesome. I believe using the dye. And of course, the next one below that is dye slots have been added, which is also nice. If you check your inventory, you'll see dye slots next to your social and armor equipments. Next one we have is you will now start with 10 mana, so this is awesome too. Now you don't have to worry about trying to find and put together a whole mana star to get 10 mana. You'll just start with 10 mana. You can now craft early game magic robes, and staves. That's cool, I guess. I don't really use much magic, but that's interesting. That's a cool early game. Bricks, wood, stone, glass all now blend together, so now they actually go together well, instead of if you made like a a brick house and then you put like a glass wall or something, it didn't blend. It didn't blend together, but now it will. I can't really explain it for myself, but if you do it yourself, you'll notice, or in one of the gameplays, you might see it. Let's see, now next one we have is mana crystals only require 5 fallen stars instead of 10, which is awesome, because falling stars aren't really as, they're not, I can't say they're rare, but they're not that common, so to say, you know, only nighttime, and, you know, most of the time I'm underground at night. Let's see, if water touches a half tile, it will create a waterfall, which you'll notice in the video. I believe it might have already passed by now, I'm not sure. If not, you'll see it soon. Your world has a chance to get an alternative ore as a replacement for copper, iron, silver, and gold, which is awesome. I don't know what it is, but it sounds awesome. Your world has a chance to have a replacement for the corruption, which also sounds awesome. Corruption's horrible, I hate it. In the beginning of the video, you'll see I get, like, attacked. Your world has a chance to get alternative ores as a replacement for cobalt, mithril, and adamantite, and now those are only obtained through hard mode, which is after beating the final boss, which I don't know if it's still the same or not. They might have changed it, not too sure. They did add more bosses in, though. See the next one, your world has a rare chance to have a pyramid or living tree spawn during world generation, each containing their own loot table. Now that sounds interesting. That sounds really cool and really awesome. More loot. I like loot. There is a new hard mode jungle temple. There are new beehives that can be found in the jungle. There are now several new backgrounds and tree variations in your world, and your world has a chance to generate. Water will now change color based on the biome you're in and depth underground. Ropes are now found early game and can be used to craft rope coils for traversing the world, which sounds pretty good, freaking awesome. So I'm thinking maybe something like spelunking, you know, climb up and down a rope, getting from, descending from one level to another. Chains can now be placed and used as a rope mechanism, which is nice. Let's see, and there's a lot going on here. Man, there's so much going on. Let's see. Mushroom, grass, and seeds can now grow and spread above ground, which is good. I don't know why they wouldn't before. There are now 3 colors for wires, so there's no longer just red wire. They'll have multiple colors. I don't know what the other 2 will be. See, actuators can be used to make any solid tile active and inactive, which is also really nice. There are several new fountains that will change the color of water when they are placed nearby. Pearl stone bricks no longer spread hollow. Now this is sad. I love that about pearl stone, that it was spread hollow. Now hollow is also a hard mode option that you get after you beat the boss. You'll have the corruption will spread much faster, and then somewhere in your world hollow will spawn, which is what I was talking about in the video, where unicorns, fairies, and all this, and rainbows and magical pixie dust will be, and it's awesome. And if you placed pearl stone, it would help spread it and fight the corruption. That's if you didn't want corruption. But now that is no longer, so that's kind of sad to see that go, but we will adapt to that. Now we have rain and blizzards have been added, so more weather changes, so that's nice, you know, change it up a little bit. Now see, there's new snow biome with unique treasures and items for normal and hard mode, so this sounds pretty interesting. I want more treasures and items. That's hands down. So now we got enemies no longer trigger underground pressure plates. Now this is awesome. You wouldn't believe how many times I have died from that. An enemy would go to fight it, and I would see the pressure plate, and it would walk over, and a boulder would come chasing me, and it was like a part of Indiana Jones. It scared the hell out of me, it killed me, and it's horrible. So I'm glad that they fixed that. And then there are new pressure plates that can be only triggered by certain things, such as player, enemies, or both. So now there are some that obviously can be triggered by enemies regardless. I don't know if it's going to be once generated. I'm not sure. See, clowns will no longer blow up tiles. Now I don't understand this one that much, because I thought that was the whole point of the clown. It would throw bombs everywhere, and I think they only come out like on Blood Moon or something like that. They would throw bombs everywhere and blow up and blow your place up. And it's just horrible. I just got a message on Steam. So I don't know if that's for good or the worse. I'll probably better, because they blow up your house a lot, which happened to me. Now we're on the next one. Is going to be, there are several new buffs and debuffs. Obviously I can't go into detail about that. They don't really say anything. Next one, there are now mini capture and gem addition to the game. You can craft large gems that draw a gem icon above the player. Holding the gem, if the players kill the gem, will be dropped next to their corpse. So it's a nice little mini game, it sounds like. So that's pretty cool. Capture the gem, because it just says there are now mini capture the gem. I think it meant to say there are now mini games, or there is a mini game called capture the gem. So that sounds pretty cool. That's something I'd probably do with some friends if we got going and playing. See, there are 2 new hard mode events. I don't know what that means, but it sounds interesting. I like anything to do with hard mode. Werewolf form has been buffed and can take place every night. That's good. I think before it was only on Blood Moon, so that's cool. You can do it every night now. Broken armor debuff only lasts 2 minutes, down from 5. Now this is freaking awesome. Broken armor pissed me off. I don't remember if it took your whole entire armor off or if it was only like half your armor, but either way, like in hard mode, it would happen so often, and I would just keep dying, and it made me so mad. There's a lot of frustration coming out of the broken armor debuff. Now where you got to you now use a pickaxe to remove armor from a mannequin. Before, I think you just like right-clicked it and it would take it off, but now you gotta use a pickaxe. I'm not sure. I don't think I've used a mannequin before. I can't remember. Players no longer take double damage in PvP. This actually, I never noticed that, but in PvP, you would take twice as much damage as you would if you were like to fight an enemy. So they fixed that. Or I don't know if it was a bug or anything, but it's now normal. Items of the same type will now stack when next to each other. So that one sounds pretty interesting and pretty hopeful. When using a gravitation potion, let's see, this page doesn't like me. So if you guys are going to read along with this, it might refresh itself. I don't know why, but it will. Let's see, what was I? When using a gravitation potion, your world will invert rather than your character. So when you use a potion, a gravitational potion, your character, instead of walking on the ground, would flip upside down and go flying in the air. So now, instead, it's going to be totally opposite. So the ground you're walking on will be flipped up into the air and you'll be falling. So it's going to be a little confusing switching like that, but we will adapt as well. You can no longer become invincible when touching fire blocks. I don't remember that. I mean, unless I had a certain accessory. Next one is increased speed at which you can buy stacks of things, so that's helpful. That's really helpful. Now, I hope the video isn't almost over because there's still a little bit ways to go. See, the sun is now brighter, which actually gives it a lot more detail. It looks a lot better that way. Before it was just kind of dull, and there wasn't much to it. But it's better now. I like that. See, midnight is now darker. The sky has smooth gradient. There are several items that have been graphical upgrades, such as gems-colored torches, mini shark, Muramasa, aqua scepter, star fairy, and etc. There are now stalagmites, icicles, moss plants, rocks, and other piles added to the enhanced environment, which you'll see in me running around through if you didn't notice like those little rocks and stuff. It just gives it a nice feel to it, more environments and stuff. There are several new mini caves that can be found with unique backgrounds. Each biome will now have chests and pots with unique graphics, which is also nice. The dungeon now has 3 unique textures and colors and furniture. The dungeon is an amazing place where you fight Skeletron. Yes, Skeletron. It's pretty awesome. I love that guy. Hell houses have been remodeled. This is good. Hell houses were kind of not really houses, but lava flowed places with, furnaces, or not furnaces, I forgot what they were called though, but they were pretty much act the same as furnaces, but you could build more with them. Floating islands have been remodeled to probably look a lot better than what they did, but that's nice. Each biome will now have unique textures and wood types. Corruption will have ebon wood, jungle will have rich mahogany, crimson will have shade wood, hollow will have pearl wood. Each brick now has its own unique texture. Each brick wall now has its own texture. Torches are now animated and can be placed on walls, which is freaking awesome. Common enemies such as demonized skeletons and zombies have all been given graphical variations, which I noticed, which is also really nice. It's nice to see how much they're doing with this update. There are several new tombstones. All objects in the game that sparkle will now sparkle with a corresponding color. Now we got a lot more coming on here, but I think we're running out of time. I'll try to get through as much as I can here. So I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Alright, recipes and items. In total, there are over 1,000 new items. This is amazing. This is what I've been waiting for. There are 10 new ores, there are 4 new wood types, and 31 new brick types. You can now imbue melee weapons, so obviously like make them stronger, imbue them with some type of power, so this is pretty nice. There are several new arrow and bullet types. Again, awesome. More damage is always good. There are several new crafting stations. I can't wait to see what this is, if you craft the crafting stations or if you find them. There are several new wands used to crafting new bricks and brick walls. I've never used a wand, not sure, but it sounds cool and I might use one. You can now craft bricks, walls, furniture out of several new materials: slime, bone, mushroom, living wood, flesh, silt, and many more. You can now craft jester arrows, which is awesome. You can only find jester arrows, and they're pretty powerful starting arrows, so that's nice. You can finally craft the jester arrows. There are 12 new wing types, several new vanity sets. There are a lot new rare drops added to enemies. You can now craft stained glass, which is going to be awesome looking. There is an item in hard mode that allows you to change biomes. There is an item in hard mode that allows you to increase your max health. There are 29 new Tinker combinations, several new items added to the game that are used to crafting dyes. Star Fury now acts as a melee weapon and has had its damage increase, which is good, because Star Fury I found one time out of over the 100 hours I've been playing this game, and it wasn't that great. It was not that great. The Aqua Scepter has been redesigned and does slightly more damage for less mana. Let's see, Water Bolt has been redesigned and slightly more damage. I'm going to go ahead and skip down to the NPCs here because we got about 2 minutes left. So there are 8 new friendly NPCs. We've got about halfway through the recipes and items if you want to read it for yourself. So NPCs, 8 new friendly NPCs, 4 new bosses, 100 new enemies. Friendly NPCs will sell different items. Hard mode bosses have a chance to spawn on their own to help players progress through the game. Wow. Current hard mode bosses now do slightly less damage had their health decreased. There's a rare spawn mini boss that can be found during blizzards. There are 15 new pets. Early hard mode enemies now do less damage and have less health and defense. Skeletron can now be summoned as a small loot table. That sounds freaking awesome. Music. There are 15 new tracks for the game, 3 of which are from the console version of the game, which is great. The console had great music. Day Theme 2 will loop into Day Theme 1 to add variation above ground, which is great. There's a Desert Ocean Glowing Mushrooms, Dungeon, and Space, all have their own tracks now. Ice Biome has an above and below ground track. The game can now only loads assets when needing, reducing the amount of RAM. Optimized tile data to reduce RAM. Their game will now ask if you want to use UPnP to automatically port forward when hosting multiplayer. That's right. You no longer have to port forward yourself in order to play multiplayer. This is great. This is always an issue. I just figured out how to port forward as well, so that's awesome. I'm glad that they did that, and you don't have to worry about that, or even using Hamachi. You don't have to use Hamachi anymore. That's perfect. I'm glad. So that was pretty much the gist of it. Like I said, the recipes and items halfway through if you want to continue reading, but we're running out of time here. So I'm going to end the video here. Like I said, link will be in the description if you want to read it yourself. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, comment, tell me what you think. If you didn't like the video, go ahead and dislike it. Feel free to let me know why, see if I can improve on anything else, and we'll see you in the next one. How's it going, awesome people of the internet? If you liked my video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Share the video with your friends through Facebook and Twitter. Don't forget, subscribe now for future content, and we'll see you in the next one.